Time now, 28 minutes to 8. You know how governments occasionally announce great, grandiose projects, and then when the objections start coming in and the costs are added up, they're quietly dropped. Well, that's what lots of people, including apparently a government minister, have been saying is happening with HS2, the high-speed rail link from London to Birmingham. That's going to cost, they say now, more than £32 billion. Well, seems they're wrong. The government is going ahead with it, at least according to the Transport Secretary, Justin Greening.
We are passionate about getting on with High Speed 2. We know it's badly needed. I know that we need to have it done in time for when that capacity crunch happens in the mid-2020s. But at the same time, I really understand that there'll be many communities that it passes through that it affects. And that's why I've worked very, very hard to understand what those effects will be and then to look at how we can mitigate them and then how we can work with those communities fairly.
Well, that's Justin Greening. Well, I'm joined by Martin Tett, who's the leader of Buckinghamshire County Council. He also chairs the alliance, the 51 million alliance it's called, of 19 local authorities opposed to HS2, and it's called the 51 million because that's what you reckon each of your local authorities will have to pay.
Morning, John. Yes, yeah. 51M, that's the cost we've worked out for every single parliamentary constituency in the country.
Oh, I see every one of us, not just your lot.
Oh, 51 million of every single parliamentary constituency. That includes Northern Ireland and Scotland. That's what we're all contributing towards this vastly expensive what many of us see as vanity project.
Vanity project, but it's needed, isn't it? Because we heard Justine Greening talking there about the capacity crunch. I mean, do we want to settle for rotten old railways crumbling away year after year?
Well, Justine, and she's a very honourable person, who's clearly embarking on a spin offensive because the credibility of this project has just fallen apart over the last 6 months. What we've seen is just almost every week the dismantling of the business case for HS2. I mean, we've seen the government's own numbers crumbling from, well, when they announced this originally a couple of years ago, every pound invested supposedly brought back £2.40 in terms of benefit. That crumbled to 1.6, down to 1.4. Only in April it went down to 1.2. In other words, only 20 pence back for every pound
invested. There's still a benefit.
Well, no, because we've already discovered that the government, the DfT, have been sitting on a report that actually found that the main assumptions underlying that business case were, in their own words, unsupportable. So this assumption that people don't work on trains that underlines the business case has been destroyed by their own report.
But isn't that a terribly narrow way of looking at it anyway? Go forward 20, 30, 40 years' time, whatever it is. Do you want our children to look back and say, well, look at that state of the railways. Why didn't our parents, our grandparents do something? Aren't we grateful to the Victorians for what they did for us all those years ago? I mean, we've always got to live in the past. Can't we do the future?
No one's talking about living in the past. Quite the opposite. One of the things we argue for is we really do need massive investment in our infrastructure today. Not in 15 years' time.
And this is one of them.
Well, but the other, you have to look at the options, because what we're actually saying is, if you look around the country, everywhere in this country, there are roads and rail infrastructure that desperately need investment. Whether you're in Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, in South West or Wales, we all know that the roads we drive on have potholes, the railways we use.
That's patching up. This is something ambitious.
Not.
This is something that's going to change Britain eventually, this sort of project.
John, if you talk to businessmen today, what you find, what they really want is the road and rail infrastructure that we actually use today actually brought up to scratch. So
things will never get any better. We'll just keep patching.
No. This isn't patching. This is major investment in getting the infrastructure of this country up to scratch. What it's going to do is bring jobs and investment now. It's going to help get this country back on its feet. This vanity project does not deliver what the government claims. For example, on the capacity
Deliver
issue,
a new railway.
Well, it's going to save 20 minutes on the journey time to Birmingham for rich businessmen. The government's own statistics show, when they argue this case, that it's for businessmen who earn over £70,000 a year to save 20 minutes getting to Birmingham.
I don't think that's a limit on it, is there? You're allowed to travel on it if you earn 60,000.
No. This is the government's own argument. This is what they've put forward to justify this. If George Osborne has found £34 billion down the back of the settee, I think there are far better ways of spending it than this.
Martin Tett, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much, John.